What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. Before I begin, from the bottom of my heart, I really want to thank all of you for helping to support myself and this channel and looking out for each other in the various hobbies. I know in particular in the sports card and TCG Pokemon hobby spaces, there's still a little bit of back and forth with certain content creators. Hopefully sooner than later everybody can find some common ground. All of you have been watching what's been happening with me. Thank you so much, everybody. If you can't tell, I'm emotionally drained and exhausted. But thank you so much, everyone. If you like what you see and you enjoy the content, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe, smash that like button, comment in the comment section below, and hit the bell to receive notifications. I have, despite myself, reopened my eBay store. The link is in the description box below. It's called the Carolina Collector 001. So if you're interested in sports cards and various other items, go check it out. As of tonight, I have relisted several items as auctions. I know I'm not going to get what I'm asking for from these auctions based on the type of items I've listed. I've actually gone into my PC and listed 3 PC cards that are PSA 10s, or actually 2 are PSA 10s, and 1 is an SGC 9.5. It's the Adley Rushman Red out of 5, Bobby Witt, I think, out of 50, and the Harrison Bucker out of 50, if I'm not mistaken. Please forgive me, everybody. I'm just emotionally drained because of everything that's happened. You've all been watching the channel. You've seen what I've gone through this year. It has just been a complete shit show for me. There is a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a good chance that I might get this money back, but it won't be there until maybe like a week and a half. I have to wait. But, you know, it's very difficult to go through what I'm going through right now because, you know, it seems that theft is rampant throughout the hobby spaces. You know, if you watch my community page, I posted a video by Jeff Wilson, whom even I have my opinions about, but he actually did a pretty serious segment about a sports card dealer or collector or what have you from a card show, and this individual apparently got robbed of certain cards. You know, over at my community page, I've been linking links to news reports about comic books being stolen, Pokemon cards being stolen, card shops being robbed. You see what's happening with me. It's disgusting what our society is turning into, folks. You know, I've talked about less lethal self-defense here. Fortunately, in my home here in the state of North Carolina, I mean, you shouldn't have to, but if I have to exercise deadly and lethal force by law, I can. But of course, the way the law is here, you have to be careful because you have to be making some sort of effort to escape your assailant. But if your assailant traps you in a corner and you have no choice and you have to take that person's life, it's either you or them. That's just the reality of how it works. You know, recently I talked about having a security lock put on my door. I have security locks on my windows now. You know, I have plenty of less lethal self-defense weapons here, which I'm, you know, very happy to have. And it's just a shame because what happened with myself, you know, I'm stranded here. There's nothing I can do. All that money that I had put away on top of my own financial resources, and I still don't understand how. You know, I've talked with my bank over this. They are looking into it. I don't understand how this could possibly happen when I have a brand new debit card in hand. Obviously, I'm not going to show. I do have my old debit card just to keep for the record in case something comes up. But I do have the new debit card, so it has to be something else. I just don't know if maybe somebody has my bank account number. I don't know what happened. But they're looking into it. It may be something that maybe I put my bank account number into and they just drew out of it automatically. I don't know. I really don't know. Many of us take these things for granted where, you know, you may have a subscription or an account with, let's just say, Fanatics or Big Bad Toy Store. And you know, when you put in your order, especially if it's a pre-order or something like that, it could automatically go into your accounts if you leave that information in there. And that's kind of frightening because who has access to this stuff? I just don't know. But I'm told, hopefully in the next week or two, that money hopefully should be returned to me, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm stranded here in North Carolina while my family is going to do what they're going to do. I was looking forward to seeing my father's house for the last time, and I've been denied that now. And as a result, I can't really rely on the fact that I'm getting a bunch of maybes. I'm not sures. I don't know. I like answers. I'm an answer guy. And if I can't get any kinds of answers, then I have to do what I have to do, unfortunately, which means that it's going to force me to, do something I don't want to do, and that's to list personal slabs and personal cards. So I've taken a Bobby Witt Jr. and Adley Rutschman, the not Gunnar Henderson. Forgive me, everybody. I apologize. The Harrison Butker Prestige PSA 10 that I have, plus the Missing Link Optimus Prime. One of them sold a while back. I still have the Missing Link CO1 for sale. I've listed that as an auction now. I already have a feeling I'm not going to get the kind of money I want to get out of them, but I have to do what's necessary, unfortunately. I have bills to pay, I have a business to run, and I have expenses that need to be paid. I have food to shop for, and this whole thing has just thrust me behind by so much that I'm hoping I'm able to fight back and recover these resources. I already got a sale today for a Shohei Ohtani Aqua that I haven't pulled the card yet. I still have to pull the card and print out the shipping label and pack it and get it out and whatnot. But the amount of theft when it comes to Pokemon, TCG, sports cards, and comic books is now on the increase. And you really, really have to watch what's going on. I mean, here I am, a small business owner working out of my home, and I've poured my own personal resources into this thing, and to have this happen now for a second time, it's devastating, because this was supposed to help my family, and now I'm stranded. Despite my best efforts to, communicate with my family about what happened, they're moving ahead without me. And you can imagine what that feels like for me, that I'm stranded here in North Carolina while they're up there doing what they have to do. And I've tried every means that I can to find ways of trying to, remedy this issue. And I run a blank. I've been sitting here all day long in my home. I haven't gone outside once. I'm used to sitting on my patio. I'm used to sitting at the barbecue area. I didn't even go walk to my mailbox today. I pretty much shut myself in today because I'm not going to lie. This year has just been miserable. And not to sound cynical, I expect more down the road before this year ends. But, we have to protect ourselves. Unfortunately, we live in a very evil world, a very vile world, where there are people that just do not care. They don't care who they hurt. They don't care how much pain they cause. They don't care how hard people work for their things. That's why I installed that security lock on my door recently. That's why I got locks on my windows now. I've always had less lethal self-defense weapons. I won't even walk to the post office unless I have, at minimum, pepper spray. Like one of the most recent shorts I uploaded, you saw my pepper ball launcher that I have for self-defense. Because I have people's money in my hands. It's a frightening subject, to talk about, because, many of us who are honest, who run small businesses or run full, brick and mortar stores. I know we all talk about LCSs in the sports card hobby. That sometimes they 1.5x or 2x product as soon as it comes out. They have a legitimate right to make money. I mean, it is what it is. We don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like having to pay 2 or 3 times more for something. At least from my end, I'm small potatoes. I work right here in my living room. You've all seen my setup here. I try to make my cards as cheap as possible for everybody because I'm a collector as well. I get it, I'm not here to rip people off. But still, if a card is $1 or it's $100, I still have to protect that. And I have to watch out for my safety while I'm carrying other people's money literally in my hands. And I will give credit to Jeff Wilson, even though the video was kind of I don't want to say kind of clickbaity, But the first half, or at least the first chunk of this video that he released today, is a very serious issue, asking the public for help, especially people in the hobbies, whether it's TCG, Pokemon, or sports cards. If you see these cards being listed, call the cops. Or if you see somebody in an LCS or what have you, let them know. I mean, obviously, some of these, I think all of them cards are graded by PSA. So I'm sure that the cert numbers are going to be put out there for the public. If you come across these particular cards, you should let the authorities know immediately. And it's a real shame, we're dealing with this sort of thing with fake cards. Sports Card Professor did a very good live stream the other night. There was like a montage of fake Pokemon cards being exposed and all sorts of stuff. I actually posted a link, I believe, on my community page where a person's storage unit was robbed of an X-Men comic book and other comic books, and it was the storage owner. The person that actually owns or runs the place was the person that robbed this storage unit, and a very rare X-Men comic was stolen. I don't know if they recovered that X-Men comic, but they were able to recover the other stolen comics. And this is what we have to deal with, unfortunately, folks. I'm a victim of it now, as a matter of fact, twice in so many weeks. Thank God I didn't have any cards stolen. I mean, I've had people feedback extort me on eBay, and other people claiming their cards didn't arrive when they actually did. Trying to get free cards and free stuff and card swapping and all this crap. You got to be careful, people. You really have to be vigilant. We can all fight and bicker amongst ourselves. I try not to get into the fray of all the fighting and arguing that goes on in the sports card hobby, or any hobby for that matter. But when it comes down to it, there are people that are out there that will do everything and anything to get your money into their pocket. And they don't care how they do it. And they don't care how much damage they cause. Right now, it's put me in a very precarious situation. And for anybody out there that wants to criticize me, oh, you're a first responder and you had all this money. You don't know what I've done with that money. I built a business from scratch and put my own money into it and helped the people around here benefit from that. And at the time, I was able to help my family benefit from that. How fucking dare you to leave such a shitty comment on my channel? That person's been blocked, and that comment is long since gone. But not many people have that kind of blessing to actually take their own money and start their own business without going to get a bank loan and having people invest in things. In other words, taking loans out and all that kind of stuff, and then having to pay dividends on that loan should you make any money. I've done that myself. And to leave a shitty comment like what was left the other night, fuck this person. This person comes from a group of people that have been attacking me for years anyway. And they're beneath me as far as I'm concerned. If you see some of the things coming out of New York, need I explain to you what kind of people these are? But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please be careful with your if you're a seller like me, if you're a small eBay business owner like me, or you're just a small business owner on Etsy or what have you, or maybe you run your own LCS, you have to be careful, folks. It's just very, very sad. There was a story here way back, and you can fact check me on this. There was a blind man. I forget. I don't know if he was a vet or not. I don't think he was a vet, but they allowed him to set up a hot dog stand right outside their pub right here in Charlotte. Somebody stole his fucking hot dog stand. You heard that right. And the people banded together to get this man a brand new hot dog stand. It's disgusting, folks. This is what the world is all about, man. It's a shame. Again, I know I'm very critical of Jeff Wilson. Many of you are critical of Jeff Wilson, but this most recent video that he uploaded, at least the first half of it, it's a pretty serious issue we are dealing with, and I'm a victim of it myself now 2 times in so many weeks. Thank God sports cards weren't robbed off of me, but this money was meant for my family, not for me. Or at least to help aid my family where I didn't have to burden them at all. And now they're all gathered up and I'm here in Charlotte still. And I'm trying to be strong. I've been emotional all day. I've been very depressed and down and dour. But I'm trying to find strength in all of this and putting that warning out there that this is not a game, folks. The world we live in is evil, man. And there are people that are out there that will find ways of taking your things and taking your stuff and stealing your identity and everything else. In this case, baseball cards, football cards, Pokemon cards, Magic the Gathering, you know, your sneakers, your shoes, your jerseys, whatever you collect, even your Transformers toys or Star Trek collectibles, anything like that, gold, silver, coins, stamps, everything across the various hobbies could be robbed. And you have to be vigilant. So I'm working hard to hopefully get this money back, but I can't rely on that because it's up in the air right now, which is why I'm being forced to do what I'm doing. I mean, my eBay store is my eBay store. I've had to reopen it, you know, just as a matter of fact that now that I'm not going to New York and Pennsylvania, I had to reopen it. It's pointless to keep it closed, obviously. I've got to try to make whatever money back that I can in the meantime, which has now forced me, unfortunately, to list some of my personal items. You're going to see 3 slabs that are up there right now for sale. There may be 1 or 2 more, unfortunately, that I don't want to list, but I don't have an option or a choice. Plus a few other items that were buy it nows that I've put back up as auctions, excuse me. So if you're supporters of the channel and if you're interested, click the link on the description of any video in short that I upload here on YouTube. It'll take you right to my eBay store. I know many of you have already. But, you know, at this time, now I just have to recover my losses. That's the only thing I can do at this point. You know, and again, you know, I already started getting sales. Somebody bought an Aqua Shohei Ohtani off of me. I've got to print out the label and all that stuff. But I'm very deflated today, folks, and it's taken a lot for me to make this video because I feel the need in my heart and my soul and with God's good graces that I have to put this warning out there. Be careful, folks. If Jeff Wilson can talk about a thing like this, and I've been talking about things like this, what's been going on with the post office, with postal workers stealing people's mail, and what I've seen with the feedback extortions, thank God it's been kept to a minimum. There's only a handful of them, thank God. You know, on my track record, I've got, Jesus, I forgot how many sales and positive feedbacks. It's what, 99.5% at this point. I've sold over 1,200 items. You know, I've got a couple thousand feedbacks from everybody. You've all been amazing to me. You know, and if you're a customer, a regular customer of mine, especially if you buy in bulk, I try to throw extras in there for everybody. You all know that. I don't have to tell you that. I try to fight for my customers as best I can to get their items to them. I just had a couple customers email me that their cards show that they were delivered, and then they show up 2 days later, 3 days later. It's just, they're finally scanning these damn cards, and I'm getting text messages and emails as a result, so thank God. So I don't know if these labels are helping any, but at least it's drawing attention to the QR codes on the envelopes now, so that's a good thing. But, you know, there's that 1 or 2 occasions where I really have to go to the gusto for my customers and fight for you, ladies and gentlemen. But, you know, this has really impacted not just my business, but it's impacted my family, and now I'm stuck here because of what happened. So thank you very much, everybody. Please be extra careful. If you have an eBay business that you're running out of your home and you're in a state like mine that supports the Second Amendment, protect your home. And if you have to get a weapon, but exercise your local laws. I'm not encouraging anybody to go out on the offense or attack anyone, you know, or commit any kind of acts of violence. You see how these nut jobs out there are treating Charlie Kirk's death. You don't want to be that man. You don't want to be that woman. You don't want to be put into that category. I think we're a little bit more civilized than these animals, these it, what, who pronoun, bull ringing in those fat, black, guilty, white, liberal, gay, cross-dressing animals that are out there that don't know what's between their legs. Oh, they know what's between their legs, but they think sex is what defines them. It's not. It's your character. It's like what Martin Luther King said, it's the quality of your character, not the color of your skin or any of that stuff, and that's relevant today. But these people want to make it about who they suck and fuck in the bedroom. It's disgusting. Or what they do out in public, wearing assless chaps and all that stuff. It's disgusting. But a lot of these people now, you see smash and grabs going on. There was a story about a jewelry store recently where there was an attempted smash and grab, but the jewelry store owner was smart enough to get shatterproof glass for their cabinets. That's awesome. That's why I got that Larry lock for my door now, and why I got locks for my windows, and why I have less lethal weapons here in my home, all over the place that I can easily access if need be. Be careful, ladies and gentlemen. Use due diligence. I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. Take care, everybody.